But you've
camp AJ, are you?
they've bitten back at you, have they?
Yeah, why not? Listen,
the AJ camp. What have you been saying about him?
I've just been talking the truth. You can look it up, whatever. I'm not going to go into specifics, but I just talk the truth like I always do. I'm honest. I stand by my convictions. I think AJ needs to sort his head out in the White fight, and if he does, I think he can get a real spectacular win.
But by saying that, you don't think his head is right?
Well, based on his last 3 performances, no, I don't think it is. I lost to Usyk, another loss to Usyk, and then a run and hide job against Franklin, a limited performance. Maybe he was working on his boxing skills, maybe he was working on time, and changed his trainer, working on a few things. But come on, get in range, let some punches go, put some combination punches together. Show us what you've got. Show us you mean business. There was none of that. So
I mean, the AJ camp. Some of them think you got an agenda against their man. Have you?
Listen, I set the record straight on my YouTube channel, Froch on Fighting, best channel in the business.
We're all plugging YouTube.
Don't forget about my podcast, FrochRootFootball.com.
Don't forget about that. Well, I set the record straight. I've got no beef with him at all. None. I only want the best for Anthony Joshua and Dylan White and all the English fighters. I've got nothing against Usyk, nothing against Deontay Wilder. We want them belts and heavyweight title belts to stay in England. We want a unification fight at some point.
Yeah. Did you say that Joshua disrespected his former trainer Rob McCracken?
Yeah, I mentioned that. I thought it was in bad taste.
You did.
Well, Rob McCracken took him to. Well, he got him his amateur fight card back when it was a bit sketchy for him, without going into details. And then he went on to an Olympic gold medal in London 2012. And then on from that, he won, what did he do? 3 world titles, 10 world title fights back to back. He's wasted time with Rob McCracken. Look at what you've achieved under Rob McCracken. Show some respect. That's all I said.
Is this career defining for Joshua, potentially, this fight?
Career defining. I mean, he climbed off the canvas against Klitschko in a great fight where he got decked and then, come back to win, albeit against an old Klitschko who'd been sat on the sofa for 18 months, but he still did the job. So I don't know if it's career defining, but it could be career ending, so maybe it is defining.
Never.
Because if he loses to White now, no one's going to take him seriously. And that's no disrespect to White, but White really did scrape a performance that a lot of people disagreed with against Jermaine Franklin. So if AJ can't go in there really and do a demolition job, or at least put on a real excellent one-sided performance against White, you've got to question his future, haven't you?
I think he took this fight because he wants to find out if he's ready for Wilder. I think he honestly, he didn't want to go into the Wilder fight. I think he's looking in the mirror going, I have to take him out in 3 or 4 rounds.
The man in the mirror moment, I love it.
It is, I do. I think this is the 2 roads. You got road A, knock out White inside of 3-4 rounds, because that'll be a war. I think it'll be a good fight. And then he's back and he can go into Wilder, and that'll be another battle because you've got 2 heavyweights and knock each other out. He wins them 2, he's back. He's got a chance. He's in that conversation.
Yeah.
If he loses on points against White, or he pukes the ring and he's poor like he was last time out, it's done. He's done. And if you say you want a split decision against White, is anyone really going to want to see him against Wilder? Wilder will destroy him. I watched Wilder and Fury in Vegas. Love the fight. Wilder's, he's exciting. He's unpredictable. As good as Fury is.
Which one? You're talking about the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Unbelievable. I watched 2 out of the 3 live. The last one in Vegas, unbelievable. And Wilder just has that. He brings that to the arena. You just don't know what's going to happen. Me and the wife are going after 3 rounds. Just this Fury's killing him. And then bang. And it's just...
You're right, though, Darren. It was super exciting.
Yeah, it's now or never for him.
Carl, what's the more exciting prospect? Joshua White or Fury Ngannou? I mean, what's going to pull in more numbers?
I had to think if that was a joke shot question, a trick question. Well, listen,
what do you think of Fury
for the boxing
fighting
fan, Joshua
guy?
White, the Fury fight for me is not a boxing match.
No, it's rubbish.
Like I said last week, it's Rocky Balboa against Thunderlips. It's an exhibition. So you're going to sit down, you're going to have a look at it, you're going to enjoy it, but it's not boxing, is it? It's not professional boxing. So
I mean, Frank Warren, apparently you upset Frank Warren by saying that you had a real dig at Fury for fighting this guy.
Listen, I know I also said if somebody offered me 50 million quid to fight in a fight like that, I'd take it. So, but just be honest about it. Talk about it like what it is. Don't tell us it's a great fight and it's a game changer. Just say it's a gap filler. It's massive money for AJ towards the end of his Tyson Fury towards the end of his career. And tune in if you want, have a look at it and have a bit of fun. But it's not serious professional boxing, and it's potentially damaging the sport a little bit.
It begs the question: is your sport in a good place right now with fights like this?
Well, listen, it's only the big names and the top guns that are able to command this sort of money over in Saudi for this kind of an event, if you like. It's not happening really regular, and I think everybody now knows after Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul that these YouTubers and exhibition type fighters, crossover fighters, don't belong in a professional boxing ring with professionals. and it brings in a whole new audience. So,
But you just said you were going with Jake Paul.
absolutely, of course I would. I'm going to get free money for fighting somebody who can lace my boots. Who's not going to take that?
He'd think that's morally wrong. So then
He wants to manage it. Don't worry about that.
He's on his horse again.
On the subject of morals, we've spoken a lot in the last few weeks about Saudi Arabia. We had a big debate about Jordan Henderson a couple of days last week and his move. Doesn't seem like boxers get the same scrutiny for going to fight in Saudi Arabia as footballers are getting for going to ply their trade there. Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. What about the golf players who live golf?
Exactly.
He's gone out there, hasn't he? There's someone I know from Nottingham, Lee Westwood. I mean, he went out there and a few of them got heavily criticised. Now they've all joined forces.
But the boxers seem to have got away with it to a certain extent compared to footballers and golfers.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's a lot more football fans, a lot more golf fans, and they get a bit more attention than professional boxing. They always have done. They always nick the headlines. So
Right.
I think if they was doing it more regular and more professional boxers were doing this, then we'd get even more stick.
But you'd be happy to take the Saudi dough and go and fight over there. You've said
Listen, I boxed Mikel Kessler the first fight in Denmark. I'll go through this quick. The second, I had the rematch at the O2 Arena. He beat me in the first fight. I beat him in the second fight. If I was offered to have a trilogy with Mikel Kessler, so best of three, a year after that fight at the O2, when I won the rematch, if they said to me, right, can have a trilogy with Kessler, it's a great fight, 2 world titles, whatever it was, WBC, WBA, IBF, whatever I had at the time, and the crowd's going to love it, TV going to love it, and you're going to earn Sky pay-per-view money, just to coin a figure, let's just say it was 5 million quid, which is a decent pay-per-view fight on Sky. Or you can go to Saudi, fight somebody who couldn't lace your boots and can't even, you're going to have to hold him up really and take your time with him. It's like a sparring session. And you're going to earn 50 million quid. What do you think I'm going to say? what do you want?
So
What would
there's no
anybody say?
debate. There's no debate.
No, because money talks, like it does in the Western world.
Yeah, fair enough. You had a swipe at Joshua last week. You had a swipe at Fury for taking on the MMA fella. Would you take any of it back from what you said last week, Carl?
Absolutely not. I stand by my conviction. I'm honest. I mean, I've got integrity, and when I speak from the heart. So I take nothing.
No agenda against AJ.
No agenda against AJ at all. No.
Fair enough.
Just the truth. Listen, if the truth hurts, then either put earplugs in or come back with something against my criticism, my constructive criticism.
I like that. We'll come back after this.
White.
In the Talksport studio this Tuesday lunchtime, coming up to 12:20. Many people asking me to ask you, Carl, your thoughts on Spence versus Crawford, of course, which is fast approaching. What do you think?
I think it's a great fight. I initially, when I knew the fight had been finally made, I thought Crawford probably just got a bit more in his locker, bit of a bigger puncher, more experience, had more fights. But then I'm thinking Errol Spence. What a great fighter. I think Spence made a better job of Kell Brook than Crawford did. He got him earlier, and he got him when he was less damaged, but they both got him when Kell Brook had that fight with Kevin Golovkin, which I think should have never happened. A welterweight should not be jumping in with a monstrous punch in middleweight. But Eddie Hearn made that fight happen after, I think, Amir Khan pulled out of the fight with Kell Brook. That was on Sky box office.
Sure.
Kind of saved the show, and Kell Brook, brave man, took on Golovkin, got his eye socket broke, and I think it broke his heart as well, and it was a bad loss for him. And he went on and fought Spence. He gave a good show of himself. Kell Brook's a great fighter, by the way. And he fought Crawford. But Spence and Crawford, both unbeaten. This is like a throwback to the Kings, the 4 Kings in the 80s and 90s.
Oh yeah,
amazing. And the best fighting the best. So I'm still edging Crawford, but I can make a massive case for Errol Spence. It's a great fight.
Now, earlier on, you're very much in the school of I say what I mean and mean what I say. And you were telling us that you've got no personal vendetta with Anthony Joshua or anybody else in the fight game.
Yeah.
But with Joshua, nothing personal. Anthony Joshua, one of his best chums, Michael Jarman, joins us on the line. Michael, good afternoon.
Gents, how are we?
Very good indeed. You know Carl Froch. He's sitting right beside me. What do you think?
With him.
Michael, you
I'll be
think Carl's maybe got a bit of an agenda, right?
I think I'm disappointed and frustrated, especially as 2 boxing men that have shared the same coach. I met Carl years ago, right when AJ, I think, was fighting in Liverpool. We had a good conversation about boxing, and Carl's gone on to achieve what he's achieved. So for me, as a respected boxing figure and someone very close that would almost be perceived as a conduit for Rob, I think there's been a narrative fueled around what AJ has said. I think it's been sensationalised because I don't think you and I both know Rob. With the career that AJ has had with Rob, there's nothing but love and respect. Okay, granted, 2 people have parted company and did it end on the best of terms. Maybe it could have split with a bit more of a handshake. That being said, there's nothing but love, admiration, and respect for what Rob has achieved. And that's where I would like to call a bit of hypocrisy from you, Carl, because a few weeks ago you were on with Simon saying he's got no legacy, it's not there yet, the 2 losses to Usyk. But then equally, when you're offended by what's been said about Rob, you're saying he's gone on to win an Olympic gold medal, he's gone on to be a unified heavyweight champ twice. So which one is it? Has he had a good career? Has he not?
What do you think?
I think he's
What
had
do you say?
a great career, fantastic career. I think he's overachieved. I think that's because of Rob McCracken, but I still don't think his legacy is.
Sorry.
secure.
What? So how has he overachieved and because of Rob?
Because of his limitations in the boxing. He never boxed from when he was a kid. He hasn't got the amateur pedigree. He started boxing late, and Rob McCracken was engineering everything he did from start to finish. So he engineered his
Okay,
style.
so that wasn't AJ at all jumping in the ring. I'm not sitting there saying Rob wasn't a big part of that, but the boxer's still got to go in and deliver the
Of course,
goods.
AJ jumped in the ring. What are you doing, pointing out the obvious? I mean, come on, you got more than that.
Yeah, I am pointing out the obvious. No, but that's what I'm saying.
So what's your point?
Trying to detract. My point is you're trying to detract away. It's almost like you're trying to discredit what he's achieved. And
You can say somebody's had a great career without saying they've got a legacy that's intact. Legacy is different to having a great career. There's loads of fighters out there that have amazing careers, but they won't have legacy. They won't be remembered for having an amazing career, fighting back-to-back world champions, taking world titles off people, beating undefeated fighters. It's all about timing, and AJ fought all his mandatories. I give him a lot of respect for that. But when you ask about legacy, he'll be remembered for losing to Ruiz and having back-to-back defeats to Usyk.
Still to be written.
Exactly, he's still active, and if he goes on and beats
No problems with that.
Tyson Fury, and if he goes on and beats Usyk in a rematch, or goes over to Saudi and beats Deontay Wilder and finishes his career on a high, ask me then again about his legacy. But if you're asking me now, I stand by exactly what I said. I don't think there's even an argument.
Is it not difficult to argue with that, Michael? That when you consider what happened with Ruiz and then back to back with
Jim, opinions are opinions. Like it's whatever.
I'm not talking opinions. I'm talking facts at the minute.
No. It's your opinion, Carl.
That's not. I'm talking facts. When I talk about Ruiz and back-to-back defeats to Usyk, that's factual.
I would have a different opinion to what you would. So would Bob down the road. So the fact remains, it's your opinion, and you're entitled to that.
So what's your opinion? What's your opinion on his performance against Jermaine Franklin?
What's my opinion on it? He said it himself. You don't need my opinion. He said it himself that he thought he was a little bit.
No, I'm asking your opinion.
What's the word I want to look for? Because I don't want to put words in his mouth. My opinion is relevant. Could he have got rid of him and dispatched of him to make everyone happy? Yes. Could he have put himself in the middle of a sling fight to make it more entertaining for the fans? Yes. Is there jeopardy in that? Yes. Did he get the win? Yes. Does the career move on? Yes.
Right. So what do you think he needs to do against Dillian White? How do you think his performance needs to look against Dillian White? Looking ahead at what's ahead of him.
Dara hit the nail on the head from a man who, as I said, he's my best mate. Speak to him not as regularly as I like to when he's in camp, but knowing him as a man, there's a lot of jeopardy in this fight. I think a lot of people. I think the general consensus is take the money in Saudi, don't put yourself in harm's way. There's a lot of conversation around where he's at mentality-wise, and I'd understand why the media's gone for that, although I know different. And from my perspective, I think he's looked at it, he's gone, yeah, there's jeopardy in it, but like Dara said, if I'm not ready, if I can't beat Dillian White and beat him convincingly, then am I ready to walk into the Deontay Wilder fight? So I think, if anything, credit and props to him.
Absolutely.
The show goes on in a couple
of weeks.
That's a great attitude. We'll see where he's at, and then we can have a conversation, and that's it. So, but really, Carl, honestly, my only thing is it's just like, I want to just pare back from this Rob stuff, because as far as I'm concerned, I know comically your nose got brought into conversation. I actually don't think it was supposed to be. I'm glad you've seen the humorous side to it. I don't think he meant it that way. That being said, where he said I've given Rob my best years, there's nothing wrong with saying that. He has. He's like his earliest years, his years where he's developing. All he said is he wanted to progress and develop a little bit more, and he felt as if his defence, as he's still learning on the job, as he's always said throughout his career, he just wanted to improve a little bit more. And maybe with Rob, as things had become a little bit more fractured, it was the same. And he felt, and can I just add to this, and here's proof in the pudding for it, after the first Ruiz loss, Rob's head was on a plate. Everyone, media-wise, we saw it all the next day, get rid of Rob, Rob's no good.
That was true, yeah.
Kept hold of him for the second fight, added 2 more coaches, I believe, to his corner to help develop and that's why he was able to box and dance a bit more. But he still kept Rob as the head honcho for that fight. So for me, the proof's in the pudding that Josh has always tried to be loyal and do the respectful and honourable thing.
Is that fair, Carl? I say that's fair for Michael.
That's almost fair. You sugarcoated the bit where he said about Rob McCracken. He's given him his best years. What he said was actually, and he came across like he said he's wasted time with Rob McCracken. He's got to make.
No, it's been taken as that.
He said he's got to make up for lost time. That's what I read. So he's now got to make up for lost time with Rob McCracken. That's where I've been.
He said I've given him my best years.
And
I
so,
understand.
you know, press can take things out of context. If he said he's got to make up for lost time, then I'm going to give him stick. If he said he's given him his best years, well, Rob McCracken gave him a lot of success in them best years, because look at what he achieved under Rob McCracken. And I don't blame him, or I don't mind him parking up his company with Rob McCracken and moving on to a new environment that could potentially spark something, a different environment. He's over in Dallas now, he's surrounded by champions in the gym, and hopefully that can reignite an old flame where he can be more tenacious and more aggressive and throw combination punches moving forward. That's what I want him to do. That's what the British boxing public wants to see him do. Come back at the top of his game. And I asked you earlier, what do you think he needs to do in this fight against Deontay and
against
Dillian White? What he needs to do is go in there and do a demolition job. Yeah. Now, that don't mean he needs to go in there and smash him up like I smashed up Lucian Butte after losing to Andre Ward. It could mean that he goes in there and just puts on a boxing masterclass, doesn't get overshot, and really puts on a top-class performance, and people will go, right, okay, AJ's back. That's what we need to see, and I hope wholeheartedly that he can do that.
Listen, I paid money for Froch Jarman, never mind anything else.
No, I wouldn't take that. I don't take stupid.
Michael, very briefly, we do thank you for coming on. Briefly,
no, thanks for having me.
What do you think we're going to see from AJ against White? What do we need to see from him?
I think what you're going to see is a man that has spent months re-studying, relearning about himself, where he's at, who he is. You're going to see all the work that all the hard yards he's been putting in with Derek, and we're going to see, as you know, the media clearly and some of the public need convincing, whether he's ready to rock and roll and to crack on with the Saudi fight against Deontay Wilder or not, and that's it. What do I think he needs to do? I think he needs to beat him, and I think he needs to beat him convincingly. But I've always believed that. And then no boxer can walk into a ring and say, "Oh, I'm going to take it easy and stick behind a jab and not take risks." Every boxer has to go into a ring knowing that they've got to hurt the opponent they're fighting, nothing changes for us. So the show goes on.
Michael Jarman, listen, thanks so much for that. Carol, lot of messages coming in. You're very much respected in the world of boxing, even at this stage in your life. Alan in Liverpool. Guys, great having Carl Froch on the show this lunchtime. He talks so much sense. Want to give us a wee bit more sense the other side of the bulletin? You can stay with us another couple of minutes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Top